being the defeated one and turning around. I recently found out my wife has been sleeping with her boss, how cliché, for the last 6 months. She doesn't know I know yet, but she suspects something is wrong. I'm not a pathological liar like she is and can't hide my emotions as well. My attorney basically told me it would be in my best interest, and in getting joint custody of my children, to do this as civilized as possible. He told me to wait until the next marriage counseling session, which is a week from now, and announce it to her then. The boss is married, so I really want to tell his wife, who just had a baby not long ago mind you, but I'm hesitant now because it will only piss her off and drag this out longer than it needs to be. He said if I decide to make this ugly from the get-go, then it will cost me big down the road. Suggestions. If I report them to the boss's wife and their HR department, will it be worth the blowback of a custody and house battle over a short-term revenge gratification on my part? It's hurting me trying to be the bigger person when I was being treated like a jerk for so long. I'm convinced sooner or later the boss is going to dump my wife anyway. This is not the first subordinate he has hooked up with. My wife has also had an EA in the past, so as much as I don't really want to do this, why reconcile? I can't be in a marriage where I don't trust the person, and if it wasn't him, it will probably be someone else. She could make me getting custody a nightmare because I drove her fling away. All I care about now are the children. Amazing how the pattern of betrayal is always so similar. She's a fool for buying into his crap, and I am for giving her the benefit of the doubt all these years. The lawyer also told me if I piss her off and she decides to leave with the kids, then 9 times out of 10 I can't stop her. She's the mother and is considered the nurturing parent, so I'd have to file an emergency command and it will get ugly fast. That's her only play, so it's a Cold War standoff in my mind. I already have concrete proof, but my attorney told me unless she was spending marital assets on him, he buys the hotel rooms, or having an undue influence on my kids, they have never met him, then there is no benefit in using adultery other than being a longer road. Apparently in my state you can be considered a bad wife but a good mom. How screwed up is that? I've been talking to friends nonstop about it. That seems to help with the nausea. I've lost 10 pounds in a few days and have no appetite. It's waiting until next week to break it to her that's hurting me. I want to do it now badly, but I think doing it in a controlled setting on my terms is best for everyone. I do blame her. We were never the same after her first EA 6 years ago. So no, the marriage was far from perfect, but maybe if she put half the effort into fixing it as she does now, sneak around behind my back, then maybe I would not have to divorce her. If she was so unhappy with me, why didn't she just do the honorable thing and leave me? Then she could have screwed whomever she wanted and I could have cared less. Instead, for the last 6 months she has been betraying our vows, lying to my face and making me feel guilty for even questioning her. I didn't force her to become a cheating beast, she did that all by herself. All I'm trying to do is get away from this disgusting person as cleanly as possible. My only hope is that there really is karma in this world and the OM will drop her like a hot potato once the fantasy is over. Sooner or later, hotel rooms and screwing in the parking lot after work is going to get old, and then reality will set in. She's banging him to satisfy his needs and he's telling her all this lovey-dovey garbage to give her the attention she's looking for. It's so pathetic. The EA, we rug swept it. I blamed myself and believed it was because I was not attentive enough. In hindsight, I was a fool for believing her. She tells me she doesn't want to lie to herself when she wouldn't sleep with me because our relationship was rocky. I should have known it was because she was getting it from elsewhere. Another red flag I blindly ignored. Come to find out it was because she promised the other man she wouldn't. Like that's probably stopping him from banging both his wife and her. I know now my wife is completely delusional. I just wonder is he's just stringing her along for a good time, or if he's completely delusional too. I'm inclined to believe he's just using her, but wouldn't that be a really awkward situation at work afterwards after he ends it? He's her boss after all, and 6 months is a long time for a fling, isn't it? Their plan also seems to be to keep this going for some time longer. I am 100% certain I will tell the OMW eventually. It's just a matter of when, and as disappointing as it is to wait until after the settlement, it's the strongest card I have to get her to agree to a quick divorce. Now if she does something stupid like lawyer up, then I'll nuke without hesitation. My other concern is she will deny until I prove to her, I know. I don't want to tell her how I found out, but hopefully if I throw her a few crumbles and mention a few details that I couldn't possibly know otherwise, she'll cave and confess. I'm not walking out of the MC without a confession. The boss is still sleeping with a subordinate who he supervises, gives performance reviews to, etc. I don't know many businesses that condone that. Plus, if I expose now, I feel like it just exposes me to the risk of having to pay alimony to support her newfound joblessness. I just want to clear up a few points. 1. I'm not concerned about money as much as I am custody of the kids. It's the only reason I'm being cautious. I don't want to fight on 50 over 50 custody, and she could leave with the kids anytime $hit hits the fan and I can't do a damn thing to stop her until court. 2. From what I have gathered based on my intel, they seem content to continue this affair behind our backs for at least the rest of the year, perhaps longer, though they claim to be getting impatient. OMW just had a baby, so that's his excuse. My father died a month ago and I guess it would be bad timing to dump me, like she's doing me a favor, so that's hers. 3. At the end of the day, I think my wife is delusional enough to believe this fantasy is real. My gut tells me this guy is playing her, but who knows? All I know is if he is not ready to leave the newborn baby, then that's leverage I can use. After 6 months of this going on, what difference does it make if I blow it up now or a few months later? She will try to protect him and I can use that to get her to cooperate. I don't mean to sound cold and the OMW will find out, but my kids come first. If I was 100% certain the OM would stay with the OMW, I'd nuke them right now. I'm not trying to save this marriage. Any person who would do this someone is the lowest form of scum in my book. I would never trust her again, and it's not like I can read this guy's mind. As unlikely as it is, maybe he will just leave her, in which case exposure will just have sped up the inevitable and burn any leverage I have. Further, now that the wife is pissed off because I have shattered the fantasy, what stops her from getting revenge and using the child custody as a tool to do so? Nuking is always on the table. Leverage isn't. If I don't get her to admit it, then the leverage is useless. She will just think I'm bluffing by saying I know and think that I have no proof to go to the OMW with. The evidence I have is airtight. The trick is to give her just enough without giving away where I got it. Update: I exposed the affair. She was shocked and upset by it. We are going to file a joint petition for divorce this week. I haven't threaded exposure yet because for the moment she is agreeing to favorable terms. I will expose after we file. She said she needs time to work on herself and the kids and is planning to put the affair on hold. However, she continues to text him and she sees him at work every day. While she's upset, she's losing the stability of the marriage and says she loves me. She doesn't seem quite ready or is unable to let go of the fantasy. I haven't 100% ruled out R yet, but for the moment the divorce is still moving forward. She's not really leaving me any choice as much as I don't want to do it. Funny thing, after she told the OM that I knew, the OM is still not leaving his wife anytime soon. Just tells her how helpless he feels. If I didn't know better, my gut is telling me she's disappointed by this and almost wants me to tell the OMW so she will kick him out and they can be together. She didn't say that, but it's what my gut tells me. I really don't think he's leaving his wife either and would be shocked if he did. Also, I think part of my wife doubts it too, though I'm sure she wants to believe it. Him dumping her would be some small vindication for me. I'm trying so hard to detach. It's not like the light switch for me, unfortunately. I still love the illusion of our marriage. You're right though. She thinks I'm weak and will try to manipulate me. She's already started calling bluffs and downplaying the affair. More lies that I know are facts, but she doesn't know I know. The deceptive behavior is still there. I don't think she is capable of being 100% honest with me. For what it's worth, I'm making her get an STD test too. She had unprotected affair with him because apparently he told her he already got tested, so he's fine. Makes me sick. She's become very comfortable lying to me. It's quite disturbing. I'm sure he still has the text messages between them that would prove it was consensual. He didn't force anything and it's not worth paying a lawyer to fight a losing battle. I've already been screwed over enough. On a random side note, maybe it's a guy thing, but the worst part about all this is knowing they had slept together over the course of months. Thinking about their physical intimacy is what really turns my stomach. That she would reject me to give him bonding, even in our own bed. Yes, the emotional aspect hurts too, but the physical part is what keeps me awake at night. My comment: what would be your reasoning if you gave her another chance? How could you be even halfway comfortable that she was being sincere and not just stringing you along until it's a better time for her to divorce you? I'm not trying to discourage reconciliation. If she wants to try, sincerely wants to try, and demonstrates that to you through her action, throwing other man under bus, coming clean to you, apologizing to you, changing jobs, doing what she can to help you heal, whether that be by exposing to other man's wife, getting him removed from the job, proving her loyalty to you, then I think you should try, if nothing else then for the sake of the kids. But you are not there yet. Feel like she is turning you into a plan B. In particular, the cessation of sleeping with you to save it all for the other man is a particularly bad sign. She easily could just keep sleeping with you and just lie to the other man and say she isn't. But no, she actually did cut you off so she didn't have to lie to him. It shows that she is capable of being loyal. It also shows you her loyalty is with other man, not with you. If you ever were to take her back and give it a try, you should make sure she really is and will be loyal to you. OP responds: that's especially painful to hear, but I can't deny your logic. It would be impossible for me to ever trust her again. I'm having trouble letting go and I need a good slap in the face with that kind of reasoning to set me straight. I can see clearly now she's not sorry. She's not ready to do whatever it takes. She's still talking to the OM. She's playing games, telling each of us what we want to hear. I have irrefutable proof of the affair. No amount of damage control from the OM is going to soften the blow. I don't know what kind of person the OMW is or whether their relationship is strained or blissful. She might kick him out or try to save the relationship. Even if OMW takes him back, my WW and other man still see each out at work every day. It's impossible for them to have no contact, and I can't ask her to quit unless I want to risk having to pay alimony. The bottom line is the wife still has feelings for this guy, even though she acknowledged to me that he may not leave his wife, though I suspect she may believe other man will and is just telling me what I want to hear. I wouldn't even be surprised if she was maintaining contact with the other man just in case we feel apart. She's one of these women who can't be alone. Whether the OM's feelings are genuine or he was stringing her along, I have no idea. I can't believe anything she says because she's a proven liar, and so far, all I have gotten from her is trickle truth. I'm still moving forward with the divorce for now, and I'm having my attorney look at the paperwork today. WW wants me to wait, but I will not. I'm not going to be played anymore, and if she has feelings for another man, even though she says she still loves me, then there is nothing really to save. I'm not going to force her to be with me. Exposure at this point would be for the OMW's benefit. I doubt it would change anything since they work together. They can't avoid each other. I also told her that sooner or later the OMW will find out, and her face turned white as a ghost. Not a good sign. And right now, she is giving me almost everything I want. She's not lawyering up, and I'm running the divorce show. All exposure will do is add unnecessary risk. She still likes the trash OM, knowing full well what a scumbag he is, so how will it help me? Trust me, I want to blow it up badly, and I will, but at this point all it will do is cause chaos. She's not truly remorseful, so there is no reason to save the marriage. As much as I would have liked to. OM not going to leave his wife, so time is on my side. I will knock on OMW's door and tell her everything. A few months is inconsequential if it means getting what I want out of this divorce for my kids and home. At the end of the day, this guy is not going to leave his wife. If he did, my WS would leave me to be with him, because she is in love with this fantasy. The guy is full of it, and she was stupid to believe him. So, while I believe she cares about me, essentially, I am plan B. She will be with me only if he rejects her, and I can't be in a marriage where I was the second choice. Nor do I want to fight to be number 2. After 12 years in a relationship, I deserve better than the number 2 slot. I already asked some people I trust to come with me in case OMW goes ballistic. I have a plan. I know where he lives. It's going to go down when D's settled. He's going to be exposed. I'm just on the fence about blowing up HR because of the wife getting canned and lawyering up, but I have zero reason not to expose to the OMW. I'm not going to give up or forget about it. Update: WS wants time. Not sure if she wants to work things out. Feels like she's being rushed into a decision by me filing for D. Needs to think about things and take care of herself. Says she's getting mixed signals from me by filing for D then being so nice to her. Clearly, she's still hung up on the OM. What time does she want? She's had 6 months to think about it while she was cheating. All I want is for WS to show some genuine remorse for what she did. All she does is act like she's sorry for getting caught rather than for what she did. The D is happening, but it would have been nice to see any kind of attempt to save the marriage rather than asking me for time. Why? So, you can wait around for OM to never leave his wife. I'm convinced she's waiting for me to beg her to come back so she can pick up where she left off with him. Sorry isn't going to happen. Sorry, just venting. Really sucks she's such a selfish piece of crap herself. I'm done being played for a fool. To her, the affair is not the problem but a symptom of the overall rut our marriage became. Almost in a way, I deserve to be cheated on cause our marriage flatlined. No accountability for her actions, like a murderer who says the voices in their head made them kill someone. She's enamored with a guy who cheats on his pregnant wife. That should say something to how delusional she is. Custody has not once been an issue. We both agree to 50-50. She knows the kids adore both of us. I told her to stay for now for the kids, but she knows she will have to leave after the divorce if things don't pan out. And it's looking very grim that it will. She has mentioned a few times leaving to try to call me out bluffing. I always say, I don't want you to leave, but you should do what you think is best. I won't stop you. That usually shuts her up quick. It's her way of trying to assert control over me. Or like when she says she needs time. I say, take all the time you want while the court processes the D papers. Update: OM told my WS that he asked his wife to separate because things weren't working out. I doubt he mentioned the affair. Do you think this is a ruse to drag out the affair? It's a pretty ridiculous lie if it's true. The WS is totally buying into it, and it looks like she's planning to get an apartment soon. That's fine, I still want the divorce. My hope was he would dump her for at least some type of karma. Maybe he is as deluded as she is after all. In any event, I guess I'm going to expose to OMW now because I don't think she's working right now. So, she can at least know the truth and take him to the cleaners in court. I exposed to the OMW. I went to her house while he was at work to tell her, and I felt really sorry for her. She seemed very nice. It went as well as one would have hoped considering, and she was holding her newborn baby in her arms the whole time, so it was really sad. She deserved to know, and I was glad I told her cause the past would never have. I didn't take any enjoyment in it at all. Just felt sorry for the OMW. The way the WS openly ignores all the bad qualities in her AP, I wouldn't be surprised, to be perfectly honest, if that happened. I need to move on, and she knows I'm not going to tolerate her continuing to have this affair right under my nose. Divorce is still moving forward, and if this crap is still going on after the final, she's gone. I'll have the house by then, and if she hasn't left voluntarily, I will boot her out. OMW, she seemed pretty devastated as it was. I didn't want to overdo it, but I did give her my email address in case she was looking for more details. Well, the wife was pissed. Made a bunch of serious threats about the house and kids, then out of the blue retracted them all. She is now being nice, and since she's a pathological liar, I don't know what to believe. Assume the worst and hope for the best, I guess. She's on her toes now, that's for sure. Some of the stuff coming out of her mouth was the coldest, heartless, most uncompassionate I'd ever heard her say in my 12 years with her. She really could give two crap about the feelings of the OMW and her newborn baby. I can still threaten to burn her with HR if have to. Probably the only thing holding her back. Glad I didn't use up all my ammo. Affair fog is too nice an analogy. I think twisted by the dark side is far more accurate. Can't wait to get away from her. She's making it easier and easier to detach all by herself. I've had enough conversations to tell she's just too far gone at this point. She is continuing to lie to me with no signs of remorse. Her loyalties are clearly with the OM. Update: OMW tossed OM out of house but wants to try to work it out in counseling. I guess she's blaming herself. WS seems fairly certain now other man will try to work it out too, and is disappointed because I can tell she still has feelings for him. She wants him to herself, and I can tell she totally expected this guy to come running into her arms. With all that, pathetically I think she's still barely holding out hope. WS was kissing my bottom yesterday because she knows Plan A, OM, is likely to fail. Plan B, me, is divorcing her, so she's basically in damage control mode to scoop up whatever man she can. I give her fleeting hope only because I want the silky smooth D to continue, but after seeing her true colors, I know there is no chance I can ever trust her again. How people can reconcile after this is beyond me. I couldn't live with myself knowing I was Plan B. I got wind that the other man was contemplating leaving as W. In hindsight, clearly another lies to drag out the affair. And the thought of him leaving his wife without knowing about the affair, in essence getting away with it, made me expedite the exposure. All I could think of was she had the right to know too, and he shouldn't be able to get out of his marriage like he was Mr. Nice Guy. So, I took the risk because I had 2 exposure cards left. One with the OMW and the other with HR. I still have the HR card, and if crap hits the fan, I can play it, but I do realize that using the OMW card and shattering the fantasy was a calculated risk. Honestly, I'm not sorry I took the risk either. Sometimes self-respect is worth more than money. As of this moment, I'm still getting a smooth D. I still have the HR card, and I made his life a lot more miserable. So luckily for me it worked, so far. Since D-Day she actually has been a better mom now that she's in jeopardy of only seeing them 50% of the time. While the affair was going on, she was largely ignoring them and me. Obviously because she was fixated with him and was treating me like the babysitter. My attorney doesn't think there is enough income disparity between me and WS to warrant alimony. Child support is where she can do serious damage to me financially because of the kids. Update: my WS sucks. She just sucks. We were having a pretty civil week. Everything was going fairly nicely between us considering the circumstances. She was telling me how the other man was going to work things out with his wife. How she knows he's not leaving her. How she was coming out of the fog and seeing his true colors. How she realized she made a mistake having this affair. Anyway, we were planning to take the kids out for dinner after work. So, I called to confirm with her before she left. She wasn't there. Come to find out, she left work early to go screw the OM in the parking lot. She was actually going to do this and then come to dinner with us like nothing ever happened. I mean, what the hell? We're still getting divorced obviously, but it still bothers me. Where is this woman's conscience? Or guilt? Or shame? My God. After she lied to me several times, she admitted she was with him, but they were just talking. Most of their physical encounters entailed sneaking out of work separately and meeting up. I'm not an idiot. I know that's why they sneaked out. They could have just talked at the office or through text message. She's pathetic. I'm even starting to think she's the aggressor trying to keep the affair going. She was trying to win the OM back. A conclusion I have come to as well. I guess he put his pictures of his kid and wife back on his desk at work. Since the other man didn't leave after exposure, it's obvious he wants to work it out too. So essentially, because we're both drifting from her, she's throwing herself at him in some sad attempt to change his mind. Heaven forbid she throws herself at me instead. Not that I would reconcile at this point. The OMW knows about the affair and wants to, or if she wants to keep her head in the sand, there's nothing I can do. Even she has to realize as long as they continue to work together, it won't be over. At this point, it's probably better if WS stays in fantasy land. I just want my D to move on with life. Unfortunately, I still live with her and she still works with him. So, it's very hard to detach when it's literally in my face day in and day out. The final divorce is still several months away, and, while she is looking for an apartment, who knows when she will find one. I get what you are saying, but out of sight, out of mind. As long as I have to see her face every day and know she's going to see him every day, it's like constantly picking at an open wound. I already made her get a separate checking account, so we have just been alternating when paying for things. I'm not sure whose turn it was to pay. Wasn't really on my mind at the moment. It wasn't a date if that's what you're thinking. The kids have no idea we're getting divorced yet, so we are still doing some family things together for them, at least until we break the news. I always was plan B and still am. Other man has formally declared he wants to work it out with his wife because of the baby. Of course, he's also more than willing to continue the affair behind her back because, well, it's easy and he's a piece of crap. He probably could have kept the OMW oblivious to the affair for a long time. She seemed very out of touch with what goes on with him. Too bad for him I wasn't. My WS also wasn't happy with our marriage beforehand. I guess that's obvious since she had an affair, and I don't think that's changed all that much since. At this point, I'm unfortunately her most stable option, so she sticks around half-heartedly trying to figure things out. I'm not getting much effort to save the marriage from her, maybe 60%. I can see she will never do any heavy lifting or whatever it takes to try to save our relationship. If I begged her to come back, I'm all but certain she would, but honestly, why the hell should I? She's the one who's been acting like a piece of crap the last 6 months. She reiterated to me that she feels I moved too quickly to file for divorce, and why should she try when it seems like I've already made up my mind. She wants to buy time and she's really done nothing to deserve it. Bottom line is WS seems content with playing me for a fool, telling me everything I want to hear, while she strings us both along and or looks for other options. I think she's been lying to me so long that she thinks she can continue to do so, and I'll be too dumb to realize it. It's become second nature to her. I know she doesn't want to hurt me, but in her twisted mind, what I don't know won't hurt me. She's just too stupid to realize I do know exactly what's going on. It's not like I want a D, but it's what's best for me in the end. As far as I'm concerned, she is still having an affair. I didn't nuke to HR because I wasn't sure if I wanted to, or I just wished I had seen more willingness on her part to end it rather than a bunch of cheap talk. My mentality is if I had to go to such great lengths to save this marriage, then it probably wasn't really worth saving to begin with. Better to settle on good D terms and run. I guess, like another poster mentioned, I'm letting wishful thinking make this harder than it needs to be. Maybe I am in denial. I probably do still see my old wife in this monster she has become. I keep expecting to wake up from a bad dream. All I know is this sucks and I want to crawl into a hole sometimes and never come out. I know it will get better, but for now I have months of misery ahead of me. My viewpoint is the OMW knows. The other man has chosen to work it out with his wife. The part of the fantasy where they run off into the sunset is clearly over, and yet my WS persists knowing this. I don't see how destroying their livelihood and leaving the OMW and her baby penniless is going to help my situation. In fact, it will make it worse come D time. Or, even if I wanted it, in the best case scenario is never a guarantee. She has to choose to detach from him just as much as I need to force myself to detach from her. I lead the horse to water, but I can't make her drink it. Even if I blew up HR, it's no guarantee she would stop contacting him. She has to want to do that, and she's either unable or unwilling to. It would just feel like I was manipulating her into being with me. I want her to be with me willingly. I could live with it if she said no. It's her lying to me into what's turning out to be a false attempt at R that is hurting me the most. I'm just sorry it has to be this way. The court is making us take a parenting class prior to granting the D. I guess they will give advice on how to tell the kids. We will tell them after the class. Hopefully, it's useful. I pretty much told her that verbatim among a million other valid points and concerns. She says nothing and tells me I don't know what to say. It's like speaking to someone who's been brainwashed by a cult. All the logic in the world won't snap her out of it. She doesn't want to hear the truth because the truth isn't part of her fantasy. What she needs is to be locked away for a month or two and deprogrammed. An intelligent conversation with a brick wall would be more productive. Update: she still sees her AP at work and obviously still has feelings for him even though she denies it to me. I'm still moving forward with the divorce to her dismay. She's upset she is being divorced and losing the stability I provide while the OM, despite what lies he's still telling her, is working it out with his wife. She feels like she's going through this alone, and I'd almost feel sorry for her if I wasn't the person she screwed over. She shows little remorse, doesn't like talking about the affair, and won't do any heavy lifting to try to salvage the marriage. She's just going along with it even though I can see she's not happy about it. The status quo hasn't changed, so I see no reason to change course. As I said, she's still in the fog. I feel better than I did a month ago about it, but obviously the pain, anger, and sadness is still there. I don't expect that to go away anytime soon, but I've made up my mind to move on with life. I don't really think we can. It's clear now, from her perspective, this was an exit affair that backfired on her. He had no intention of ever leaving his wife. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life as plan B, even if she was stupid enough to believe what the OM was telling her just to get in her pants. It would have been nice if she had ended it on her own, but the fact she hasn't been just the nail in the coffin. She's going to have to live with the fact that she destroyed her family, not me. I'll be fine, I'm a great catch. She's the one who's going to end up alone and miserable. My comment: glad you are doing some better. It would be nice if she would move out since she has little remorse. If she would get a different job, that would be a good idea on her part. She is OM plan B. Maybe time for you to start having fun. Part 2 coming later today, so sub and return for the ending.